she is, guys. This is Asuna from the Sword Art Online collection, and this looks absolutely fantastic. The model is superb, and I'm so glad that she can now go next to Kiriko. So let's have a look. First of all, you have her face here, and then again you have like her nose, and her mouth is very similar to what Kiriko is. So this is her outfit from the Knights of Blood, from the first season, and the only thing I can tell that I'm not a huge fan of is these parts here. Now the detail on the actual figure is fantastic, and we'll go into more detail, but this is one thing that I wouldn't have had, because obviously it kind of restricts the arm a little bit. You can move it if need be, but it does restrict the arm quite a bit. It would have been a bit cool if it was kind of on the figure, on the actual arm, rather than this. But that's how we keep going on. So you have a symbol just above the chest, which is the cross, and again her armor plated that covers her bust, and again you've got the lines that move down on her body there, and if you can see just here there's actually contour of where if she was wearing this properly as a material. Now I noticed this just here, which is kind of like the arm guard just above it, but it's like the floral flowery pattern, which looks cool. I'm so glad they put it, and it's on both arms just there. Okay, so when we move down here we can see that there's a gold and red trim, which is fantastic, and again the joints are all white, hence going with the actual figure. So we can move the arms up and down just like so, whenever you need them. So they're a little bit stiff, but that's with all new figures. We move down to the kind of rope on the belt, which is cool, and again there's more detail on what her actual costume is for the actual in-game, and it looks fantastic. You have even the red kind of trim goes around, and it looks like they put a lot of time and effort into making this figure. Here again we have more of the same, and the skirt is pretty much like all the other skirts that they've done. It's kind of like flexible, and again you have the white trim line just there. On the legs we see here that again there's a cross to represent the clan. I think it's to represent the clan, and again you have it on the other side. The skin molds perfectly with, or blends perfectly should I say, with the actual kind of sock or kind of boots that she has. As we have a look at her boots, just here we see that all white. There is some line on here that you can see, but also the kind of like the boot cuff has the cross, and it's silver trimmed, so you can see that it actually works really well. On the side you can tell here there's some more detail, and even on the boot itself there's the kind of bump line to show that there's the sole, and then the kind of the bottom of the actual figure of the shoe. Now we're looking at the back of her, and I've got to say I've never seen this before in any of the figures that I've owned. When the head goes up you can actually move the hair, and that all goes, but it does look like it could be a separate piece. But as you move the hair up and down in a way that you want, this is something unique I've not seen on any figure. I'm guessing you could pose it for what you needed to. You can see that here is the braiding of her hair, which they just didn't leave out, but it does look like it's just been placed in there. We can see that there's strands of hair which is textured pretty much like all the other female figures that I've seen. And again, these parts here are soft plastic and can be bent, where this is kind of a hard plastic. Underneath, when we look at her hair as well as her back, we can see that the arm things are completely joined to the back, and again they've put all the detail. Even on her kind of collar you can see the red line and the white line, as well as the ball joint, and as here you can see the silver line that they've put onto the actual figure. Move back down to the kind of torso, and again here you have silver lines here that they have for the actual part of the costume, which is led to a belt at the front. One thing is same with Kiriko's outfit, you can move these around, and because here you have a soft plastic at the top, it makes it easier for it to kind of mold with it and actually combine, rather than it being restricted to a certain degree. But you can see there's also lines here and the kind of the detail on there that actually looks like a cloak. And again, on the part of it you see the ball joints just at the bottom on the feet, and then the kind of guards or the cuffs of the shoe, they're kind of raised, and you can see there's more detail just there and on there, as well as you can see that the kind of the sole part of the shoe too. With every single Figma figure you normally get a change of face, so we're going to have a look at Asuna's. So pretty much every single one is take that off, take the face off, and then replace it with, let's say, her, not her, I'm angry. So basically make sure it's properly in place and add the hair. So she could be like, I'm unhappy with Kiriko and what he's been doing. But you can tell just by looking at the face, her eyes have changed looking this way, and again her mouth has changed, rather than from being closed kind of open, and you can see a little bit of the teeth inside. So again, we're going to take off the hair, change the face to, this is her. I kind of like this one because it's very cute. It's kind of the like she's been told that she's cute and she doesn't believe it, or she's just mad at Kiriko. Either way, I like the face. It's the cheeks are slightly puffed up and she's got a little bit of red underneath it, so it's kind of embarrassed, like she's holding her breath, or she's just angry at Kiriko. So you can see a bit better there. So I like this face. I think that's my favorite one of her completely. So when we're looking at Asuna, for the first part, it's her movements move around very similar like that. Again, just be careful with these arm guards. They do restrict to some degree, but you can move them about. The legs move in and out like that, so she can kick. But you can also pose her like so. Very similar. Again, be careful with the feet, but they move around like so. And again, the hands move around in a circle. Some do, some don't. Head is very versatile, and her hair moves up and down like so. Here you have the things that move, so she can definitely do that at any point you want. One thing I noticed with the hands is obviously you can change them to change out. Now when I was looking at the special effect, I noticed that you can take this off. So when we add in another one of her hands, let's say this one, we can add this in. I didn't realize this until just after, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I put that one on wrong, but just like that, just like her other hand, which can go straight back into there, and she has her actual costume still. So I thought it was attached to each of the hands, but it wasn't. So I think that's really cool. With Asuna, you get the stand, the additional piece to go with the stand, her special effect of the multiple attacks, her different swords and her different faces, as well as assortment of different hands. With the special effect that you get, I found that Kiriko's was way too heavy. So with this one, we're going to test if Asuna can hold it or if it's just going to drop. So this part also here moves quite a bit, so you can adjust it to what you want or take it out, but then the effect wouldn't work. So we're then going to put it in, which is about there. So I've selected the hand, which I think looks just like it. So first of all, take the sword out, pop it in like that. Be careful, because even though the swords are ridiculously thin, unlike Kiriko's one where it could have easily broken, this one seems to be okay. So we place it into a hand just like so. I'm going to knight you, Sir Kiriko. And then we're going to add that in, just like that. So it does kind of hold up. You would have to play around with it to see where you want, how you're going to do it. But I think that looks kind of cool. She's attacking like da-da-da-da-da multiple times. But it does look really cool. I don't know why this one is slightly bluer than the others, but it's a nice effect to add on. And it's not heavy at all, so she could actually hold it up for some time. I also want to have a look at the swords. Now, I think that they're quite thin, and that's why I never put too much pressure on them. If you can see just here, like, the detail on like the sword is actually fantastic as well. It's kind of raised as well as silver, and the arm guard looks like it's just going over her hand, kind of like I'd say a cloud. We look at our other weapon here. Again, the blade is a lot thicker. This one doesn't feel as flimsy, but this is the one I think she used a lot in the anime. You can see there's green there, as well as green there, as well as the little blue dots. They've really taken a lot of time and effort to go in there. Now, unfortunately, if you use this one with this blade, it does go in, Oh, you could use it, but just be careful because obviously that could be a lot heavier and over time it could droop, but it can attach quite well to that one. And again, you could put it in like that. So that actually fits a little bit better than the other one, but it's more designed for this particular one, which just means it goes straight in. As you can tell on the special effect, there is a line so you can actually see where the sword is, but it does fit in a lot better and holds a lot better too. You also get these sheaths that come with it, which they've got detail, which has the dot, which when put into Asuna, it goes, if you can see it, it goes in just there. Now I thought she would have one there and one there, so you can put both on one side, but you can't, which is quite cool. And again, the other one has no real markings apart from the top where you have like kind of a rope and where the dot is. Now I thought they would have come out, that would have been perfect if that had popped out so you could put straight into it without having to force it through the hole, but it looks quite cool. So there we go guys, there is Asuna. She looks absolutely amazing. I'm so glad to add it to my collection. Now the only gripe that I had was the hole on the side where you put the sheath in, mainly because when you pop it in you lose some of the detail on the side, the red, and it makes the hole bigger, and it also makes the thing fall out, which I'm not happy about. But apart from that, this figure is absolutely amazing. Now, question is guys, would you add it to your collection, yes or no? Let me know down below and what do you think about the figure. And as always Rangers, if you've liked this video, like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Check out Yada Games, all that lovely goodness, and as always Rangers, thanks for watching and I'll see you in a bit.